Captain Power and the soldiers of the future.
Ready?
Acknowledge. New coordinates received and locked in. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the rarest, or maybe the second rarest vehicle in Captain Power, but yet the very coolest vehicle. That is the 1988 Captain Power Mobile Skybike launcher with 2 Skybikes and no figures included. That thing's not included, but we're going to talk about all of this. We're going to talk about what makes it cool and why this is so awesome, yet hard to find, coming up. So let's take a look at the box. Now mine's not in the greatest shape, but I'm just happy to have one boxed. Now if you look over here, we have some writing on it, and then it looks like we have some different language because this was never released in the US, so that's why you're going to have a lot of that different language stuff on there. Here is the top of the box showing off the product and kind of what you can do with it. And then here's the side of the box, which is looks to be a conceptual drawing instead of the actual product itself. More stuff going over here in different languages, and then it reverses, so you have to flip it over to see the very back of it, and it just looks like the front again. So, and more different languages. So it was like a trilingual, quadrilingual type of deal going on with it, and so there it is. For Kinder AB7 Haaren, I believe that is German. So let's take a good look at this launcher, and it is pretty awesome looking. First off, it's kind of got the 3-wheel, like 2 big ones in the back and a small wheel in the front, sort of in the center actually. I'm not going to turn it sideways to show you just yet because things might fall off. But it has some interesting decals and stickers along the side. You got this big giant gun up top. You sit the Skybikes in these little trays here and the little holder for it. Now you have these little etchings so you can have the exhaust fit in there, which I thought was a nice little touch, but I feel like it doesn't fit in the greatest. It doesn't hold it in place really well, but it holds it in place well enough to sit on a shelf and look good, and it looks pretty good like this. Maybe this is a weak part of the design, is how these are held in place, but it doesn't really matter because I think the Skybikes should be used as Skybikes for the most part. Now moving this all the way around, we're going to get into the Skybikes in just a second. With the launcher, you have a driver's seat here, and you have a kind of a clear cockpit glass cover. Now the driver does have some handles, and all of these do have handles integrated for the figures to hold, and the figures if it's over there. Very scary putting the handles in the figure's hands because this plastic is very brittle and it breaks. It's kind of got that gold plastic syndrome and the silver plastic syndrome, but this looks a little bit different. It looks like a slightly different off color than gold. But for whatever reason, when you get into this color of plastic, it is very fragile, so be very careful with it. And then that slides down to put the figure in there. You have 2 guns in the front, which are connected to these little bitty pins, which sometimes break. I see them break sometimes. And you can go up and down with them, like so. That's about all it does, but it's just like heavily powered. You also have this gun up here, and it works as a side-to-side. Yeah, and it's designed where you can't actually shoot the driver with it, so that's actually awesome. Anyway, kind of cool firepower from the front. This giant beam in here, and I'm not sure, I think they call this a proton cannon. And so with that, we also have a sticker on the proton cannon, which looks pretty good. And you can put a figure in the back to man that, which we'll probably take a look at here in just a second. So getting into this area here, there are some stickers, more stickers. There's a better look at the decal, the display reading. Now looking at this here, you can see like kind of tail lights in there and that, and then this is for feet pegs, so you could put his feet in there and it holds them in place, which is genius, by the way, because you're gonna be rolling around playing and you don't want the only thing that holds him on are these little thin pieces of plastic. So there it is, and that's kind of cool too. So you got the whole team in here, and I think for display it's best to use maybe tank in the back for the heavy artillery power. And then I like all the shininess of these guys on here. Now these wings kind of get in the way of that holding in there just right. But anyhow, looking at it is pretty cool. Now I actually like to display it with the Blastpak 1200 in here. So you pull him off. Come on, tank, get your foot out of there. And you put on this Blastpak. Now this is sold separately, and chasing it down, that's another challenging issue there. But put this into here, there's a little clip, and this is integration, and I like this kind of stuff. It's got to press it really hard to get it in there, but once you get it in there, it holds really, really well. So that's awesome. Again, more skinny plastic tabs that are easily broken if you put his hands over that. But overall, integrated together, really nice looking set. Looks really nice on the shelf. It looks like there's a whole lot going on. But now we're going to get into something even more fun, the Skybikes. So this is where I think Mattel really screwed up, because the Skybikes are in so many scenes in the show, and I actually found 3 shows where they're used very heavily. But since it was one season and all that, these Skybikes would have sold really well just by themselves. Like, there's no reason that you'd have to buy the more expensive launcher to get 2 bikes. You should be able to buy the bikes for like $5.99 a piece or something. So once you pull them out of there, you can fold these thrusters down. And when you fold the thrusters down, you're going to see that there's some stickers on the side here, and you're going to see sticker in the back. You got the rear thruster engine, and they kind of rest a little lower than flat. That's kind of how they look when they're in there. So really, really awesome. Pretty lightweight. Here is the bottom of it. He might fall off. Don't fall off. He's holding on by that thin little piece of plastic, which is scary. Anyway, this is just outstanding. Really cool. This is like one of the coolest toys. So much play factor. You can just fly off and do whatever. And just small little flying Skybikes. And they used them in pretty much any character will fit on it. It works really well. It looks good. Let's see the other one out. Here's the other one out of there, and looking at it now, you notice that one of these Skybikes looks a little bit yellowed, sort of discoloration to it, so that does kind of suck. Now it does have these 2 front guns, so this is one giant apparatus here that clips in on the sides and then clips in up there. So that's really interesting too. And then with it, you've got like a control panel sticker up top for each one of these, and then the side stickers are pretty much the same the way they go. So really awesome. Would be nice to have a huge army of this, but you have to get the extremely rare Skybike launcher to get 2 of these, let alone be able to just pick these things up very easily. Would have been nice if these were just very, very common, yet they weren't. And it might have been because they didn't have the electronics in them. Now with the Skybikes taken off, you see a lot more of this. There's so much detail in here, and whatever this is and whatever those are, that's like a suspension looking part right there. This might be some sort of hose going to an engine. This here, more engine stuff. So really cool, some etched in detail back there. And then this sticker to look like more etched in detail. So really, it's just so cool. Something that we never had in the States back in the day as kids. Something that I never knew existed until I started collecting this line as an adult. And that's an issue. These things do like to pop off sometimes. So let's just be real with this. Push it, slide it in. I'm real delicate with this thing because they're hard to find. So anyhow, this same kind of detail on the other side over here. Maybe it's the exact same detail, just slightly different. I don't remember this divot being in that side. Yep, the divot's over there too. So really cool, really awesome. And let's see the bottom while I have the bikes off of it. You can see where this big wheel is sort of center of gravity. Really awesome, really cool. Lots of fun. It actually does kind of look a little bit boring without the Skybikes on it, but you still have a lot going on with the Skybikes off of it. All right, getting into some comparisons, and the first thing that came to mind is this right here is the Dreadnought Tricycle, or just the Dreadnought Cycle. And the fact that it's a 3-wheeled cycle just kind of made me think of it. Now, this launcher is way bigger, and there's way more to it than the cycle, but in my mind, it's the only thing I really think of when I think the similarities in toy lines, that we've got this, and they're both really cool. And this guy is getting a Retro Wednesday very, very soon as I get a few more parts for him. And just so you can really see the size and scale, because this is a pretty long, pretty big item overall. This is an AW Striker, and I think everybody understands the size of an AW Striker for the most part. And there it is. So this thing, look how long that is. Like, if you take the nose cone off, it's about the size of an AW Striker in the back. But then that extra nose cone adds that length. And then, of course, all the extra stuff that you can clip in adds more girth and more play value to it. But there's the size, there's the scale, just to give you an idea. Now, lastly, I said this is the second rarest vehicle that they made. And so I have the rarest vehicle they made, and I can't do a review of it because mine's boxed only. And here it is. This is the Anti-Personnel Patroller, and I'd love to get my hands on a loose one of these. I'm not opening one of the few sealed ones that are available right now, and maybe they were more abundant back in the day, but these days, very few and far between, very hard to find, and I want to thank my friend in the UK that got these for me. So this is my look at the 1988 Captain Power Skybike launcher with the Skybikes, and it is really cool. Just probably, definitely, my favorite in the line, my favorite vehicles. And I think at this point, I'm going to review the rest of the vehicles all at once when I get all of them working. But what do you think about this one? Do you have a Skybike launcher? Have you seen it before, or is this the first you've ever heard of it? Because I've only known about this thing for about a year, and it took forever to track them down and do a Retro Wednesday. So it's been a lot of fun with this. Like and subscribe, and Tidarium Hair out.
We're going on this?
You call a cab?
Not to sound like I'm not glad to see you, but what did you do with Elzer?